Hi, this is Winter. Welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy the story. All right, let's continue. Enjoy.
Lucio's voice was steady as he told her to hold on to the key while he was away, to open the library whenever she wanted, and to make herself comfortable. He began to add that if she didn't need it, but his words stopped short when Ria quickly cut him off, refusing to let him finish. With urgency in her tone, she thanked him for his consideration, clutching the golden key behind her back as if to hide it. When she brought it forward again, her eyes lingered on it, her heart quietly trembling as she whispered that now she would be able to read books more often. At that moment, Lucio's lips curved into a rare smile. Days later, morning sunlight poured through the windows as Ria stretched in her bed, her body finally free of pain. She spoke to herself with renewed cheer, remarking on her good sleep and the clear weather, wondering aloud if perhaps she might be allowed outside today. Though the Duchess had kept her confined to rest, like a treasured pet cat, Ria admitted it had been comfortable, but now that her body no longer hurt, the stillness was becoming unbearable. She thought of an excuse to move about, remembering the letter she had finished writing the night before. Excited, she decided to bring it to the Duchess herself. Opening her door, she was greeted by a maid who expressed surprise and relief to see her walking again. The maid asked if her body was well enough, and when Ria answered that the physician had permitted her to move around, the maid blessed her steps and reminded her to be careful. Ria thanked her gently and continued, lost in thought. She realized that ever since she had moved into her new room, the attitudes of the staff around her had shifted. They treated her more kindly now, and though only a little, that kindness softened her heart in ways she hadn't expected. As she approached the Duchess's chambers, she noticed the door was slightly ajar. About to knock, she froze when she heard the Duke's voice. His tone was serious. He told his family he had something important to discuss, something about their household. The Duchess began by reminding them all of Ria's kind and good nature. Alan muttered that she could be foolish, earning his father's sharp rebuke. The Duchess pressed on, speaking of her thoughts after the recent events. That Ria, being a commoner and an orphan, had suffered bullying that was deeply unfair. She vowed that such things would never happen again within their walls, but she admitted that there was no guarantee Ria would not suffer the same outside. Alan protested fiercely, assuming they meant to drive Ria away. He argued that she would never survive alone and pointed out how Dana and he already cherished her, leaving no reason for her to leave. The Duke clarified that they had no intention of casting her out, but confessed the possibility that Ria herself might want to go. And so, he revealed his true thought, that they should consider formally adopting her, granting her the Ellard name, giving her pride and protection as a daughter of the house. Lucio's eyes widened in shock. He asked if the Duke truly meant adoption. The Duke answered firmly, yes. He wished to bring Ria into the family without question. Dana, innocent and confused, asked what adoption was. The Duchess explained softly that it would make Ria her real older sister. Dana beamed, exclaiming that Ria already was her sister, and the Duchess smiled, stroking her hair, remarking on her affection. The Duke then asked for agreement from his sons, declaring that with their consent, Ria would become their younger sister. Alan, stunned, faltered at the thought of calling her that. But Lucio's response was firm and cold. He opposed it. For him, he declared, Dana was his only little sister, and that was enough. Outside the door, Ria stood frozen. Her chest tightened with conflicting emotions. To even be considered for adoption was a blessing beyond words. Yet Lucio's rejection, those words, "I don't like it," echoed again and again in her mind. Her eyes stung as tears welled and fell silently. What was she even thinking, daring to feel resentment? How could she, when the grace she had already received from this household was immeasurable? And yet, she couldn't help it. Even though she had lived through disappointment before, she had still let herself hope. She quickly decided to walk away, forcing her heart into silence. She would not show her feelings. She would not make them uncomfortable. Instead, she vowed to prepare herself to stand on her own. Time passed. The day came when she handed her finished letter to the Duchess, asking her to send it. The Duchess asked if writing it had been difficult, and Rhea explained she had only written about what she had learned of the Duchy of Velis, its beauty and its wonders. The Duchess seemed to understand, her eyes softening as she began to ask something more, but Alan interrupted, calling out that the carriage had arrived. Another day of departure arrived. Lucio's return to the academy. The Duchess bid him to take care, saying she would miss their tea times. Lucio reminded her gently that they would see each other again when the festival began. At that word, Rhea's thoughts drifted to Alan's excitement about all of them going together, about how the academy would be full of joy during the celebrations. Her musings were cut short when Lucio turned to her. His voice was warm, telling her to treat the ducal house like her own home. She froze, unable to speak, when suddenly he leaned closer, brushing her hair back behind her ear. His words struck her heart. He confessed that he truly liked having her there, and that from now on she should remain, always. Then, without waiting for a reply, he turned and strode to the waiting carriage. The Duchess called after him to keep in touch. Dana cheered, promising to visit soon. The wheels turned, carrying Lucio away. But Rhea stood rooted to the spot, her heart pounding. Why had he said such things? He had rejected the thought of her becoming family, claiming Dana was enough as a sister. Yet now he told her to stay here forever, to remain by his side. Her lips parted as she whispered his name, her gaze following the carriage until it disappeared. And somewhere, unseen, Lucio's thoughts lingered as well. His voice carried faintly, almost like a sigh. He truly could not figure out what was in her heart. That's it for now. The chapter is complete. Season 2 is coming. Brace yourselves, because everything is about to get even more thrilling.
Hi, this is Winter. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Winter Manhwa for more exciting recaps every week. Your support means the world. See you in the next one.